Welcome to your ears, the Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And you're stinky.
Hello! We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. And I am Patrick Basquel, and again!
That's what ice skates sound like. And I'm John Gilardi, and I too am very distracted by Scandinavian women.
Yeah.
Just Scandinavians in general.
Yeah.
They're
Just Scandinavia, the shape of the country. The whole...
It's not a country.
Fuck me.
But
Start it over.
Yeah.
I fucked up already. So
Scandinavia is Norway, Denmark,
it's
Sweden,
like New
Finland,
England.
Iceland.
Where it's like New England is like an area of
Kind of
places.
Yeah, it's a region, more or less. A region.
The name of a region.
It's the name of a region, and also most those countries are very close culturally and linguistically.
So, John, tell us more about Scandinavia.
I mean, I'm Norwegian, so...
Okay, he's from
Norwegian.
Norway.
Don't know. Anyways, so we are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, and we watched Miracle.
Yeah, today we're talking about the Miracle on Ice, 1980. We're talking about the movie made about it in 2008?
In the 2000s.
In the 2000s?
But, I mean, it doesn't matter when it was made because it holds up.
Yeah, it holds up.
It could have come out this year.
It hits hard, dude.
Yeah.
So synopsize this little movie for us.
So
because you know about hockey.
The way
that
they sell it in this, I can't speak to current events, but the way they sell it in this is the U.S. is, in the wake of Vietnam War and the oil, there's a gas shortage. And there's and the president was a crook. And all sorts of stuff.
It very much was.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that was kind of just happening and making kind of the patriotic pride of being in the United States or being American kind of softer than you'd want it to be, which actually kind of living through that today in a sense. And
gas crisis too.
That just happened. And anyways, there wasn't a lot going on. It felt like the country was losing. I guess the heart of its soul, its confidence, its swagger, whatever. And it's the midst of the Cold War. There's the rivalry between the U.S. and the Soviets.
Uh-huh.
The Olympics are coming up. And so it stars Herb Brooks, who's a hockey coach, and he pulls together a team of amateur hockey players, so non-professionals, to compete in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a David vs. Goliath story, and it's a good story. It's a very fun movie. It's very patriotic without being like, I don't know.
It's a good sports
cheesy.
movie.
Yeah, it's a good sports movie as well. It's just a great movie.
It made me want to go to training camp.
Yeah.
For something.
Yeah.
To just go to training camp and be there.
But that's kind of the quick synopsis of the movie, I guess.
Yeah. Man, this movie.
So I've seen it many times, and you haven't seen it.
This is the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily something that I've been putting off per se, but it was just kind of like, I don't know a whole lot about hockey. I don't necessarily like hockey. Nothing against it, but it's just not my jam. And I think on a whole, even as much as I like sports in general, I'm generally turned off by sports movies.
Well, that's why we watched this, is because you mentioned that episodes back.
Yeah.
I was like, "Did you see Miracle?" And you said no. So
yeah, and so it's like, I think that's one of the things that strikes me is that when we get to it, it looks like they're, again, maybe it's because I don't know anything about hockey, but it looks like they're all really good at hockey, or at least good enough at hockey to make me think that they've been on the ice before.
Yeah, it was cast well.
And
the extras were cast well, which is pretty easy to do. I don't know. Like, a lot of football movies, you think it'd be easy to cast, but the other guys just don't look like football players sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and also, too, it's like, you don't think about it, the size of people.
Yeah.
Like, that's why basketball is hard, too, is because, like, are you going to find a 7-footer or even, like, a 6'8" person?
Yeah.
That acts and is like good about it. Chewbacca, yeah, but also he's
wearing a full costume.
Yeah.
No, kidding.
But
well, like I none of the actors
I think that's why baseball
of the hockey
too.
players, I don't recognize them as big names.
I don't recognize a
or,
single one of
or
them.
had they been in something else. So they were definitely cast especially for this, and I think it was a big event. Like I bet there was tryouts similar to the movie's tryouts.
Yeah.
In acting and skating. And I'm
They
sure
were really, because that was the thing. It's like, what you get to the climax, you get to the big Soviet game, and we essentially watch the game.
Yeah.
Like it's the last the last 35 minutes of it,
Yeah.
and they definitely play the last 8 minutes almost in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if it shows, and because you are you're like, oh shit, like you feel that tension of watching the game in real time, where you're like.
Yeah, it does simulate that really well, and I think that's something that hockey lends itself to, being such a full tilt game.
Yeah.
And soccer is as well, but soccer is such a game of moments and ebb and flow.
Yeah.
And hockey totally is, but it's just soccer's so spread out.
Yeah.
But hockey has the speed to make up for that. Basketball is close to it, but it does have a lot of stop and go as well.
And that's something that I was thinking about too, is just use like drawing up plays and drawing up the way that they do their stuff. And I'm like, how? Like the game moves so fast that it's
I don't even understand how you can play and do playmaking and set stuff in basketball. So in hockey, I don't know.
Basketball makes more sense to me. And so maybe that's just like my ignorance of the sport of hockey. So it's like something similar.
I
and I feel like
know
I picked up more of hockey by watching this, because it's like, okay, we go around the outside, you can not necessarily set a pick, but you make sure and then you clear it. So it's like kind of a mixture
I think
of hockey and basketball, soccer.
And there's lacrosse. Lacrosse doesn't, but there's very similar elements. And I think one of the biggest things is you try to beat a man, so you force an isolation or you force a one-on-one.
Yeah.
Or a very simple concept, but like say it's a one-on-one and the offensive guy beats him, then that forces the backup defender to slide and to fill.
Because you create an opening.
Yeah, but then that creates an opening from who that guy's sliding from, so then you can skip a pass or whatever.
But
that's a lacrosse thing, but I feel like it carries over.
So do you play let's talk about lacrosse. In lacrosse, do you play like a man-on-man defense?
You can play man-on-man or zone, which I think same with hockey.
Because there's people who are the defenders. There's two defenders back. Well,
two defenders.
Soccer.
So
how many men are on the field? Let's talk about lacrosse and then talk about hockey. I'm serious.
Well, lacrosse, you have 10 on the field. You have a goalie.
Okay.
3 defense.
Okay.
3 middies. 3 attack.
Okay.
The unique thing about lacrosse is that the attack is actually is full time on the other side of the field.
So they're not allowed to cross back over to play defense.
And the defense, same thing.
Okay.
But the middies can go back and forth.
Yeah.
And with the middies, you can game it. So if someone has a breakaway on defense, that is a defender, they can yell midi back, and the midi stays behind, and they can go.
Wait, so
and the same thing with attackers, it's just not as common.
So like a midi, so they just have to have 3 people stay on one side.
You can have 6 people on a side.
Okay.
And positionally, you have 3 on each side that full-time focus on staying on the side.
So a defender could make a run and go.
Yeah.
And go, but a midi has to stick their position.
They have to stay behind the line.
3 defenders.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that's cool to me about like when they have these power plays when they're in the penalty.
Which lacrosse has. And I mean, I don't know. Like hockey's a pretty simple sport to watch in terms of like it's on there and they're scoring the goal.
Yeah.
And I think the most complicated thing is offsides with the blue line.
Yeah.
And all that is the first guy in offense that has
soccer.
No, because soccer is the moment of the pass, and it's relative to the defensive line.
Okay.
But in hockey, it's the set blue line, and the first one to pass it has to be the guy with the puck, or the puck has to cross first with the man. But that's about as complicated. I'd say it's a pretty simple game. It's very. There's a lot of depth to it. I'm not trying to short it, but
no.
Just casually watching it, that's probably the most complicated thing.
But that's one of the things to me, like as a person who watches basketball a lot, is like one of the most like sort of like it feels like I'll say a sentence eventually, I promise. But like with sports like that move continuously, it's like how well you do the simple things. Like in basketball, if you do a pick and roll really well,
Yeah.
Which like you have a ball handler and a defender, and one of the offensive players sets a pick, and they go off, which either forces a switch or the defense has to clap, and they can either roll, and you have one man who is trying to either catch back up and they don't switch, which leaves the man who's at the pick open and he's rolling to the basket, or he can pick and pop, whatever.
Same.
But it's like what I'm saying with that is like it's like the simplicity of you doing, because that's pretty simple. That's like one of the first things that you note. It's the simplicity of something like that in a game that moves continuously is what makes the difference between great teams, because it's like they do the pick and roll in fucking the NBA, and they're doing the pick and roll in fucking pickup basketball or in like 11 and 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just size and speed and stuff like that, but also the different variations off of that one or two simple
you can
plays.
It's like you do this and you can do that or that or this, and then like it branches out.
Because it's a game of, and that's the thing that's interesting, is like it's a game of continuous movement. So for me, watching hockey or watching soccer, sometimes I'll pick something up where it's like they're more like maneuvers, rather than they are like in football where it's like, oh, here's the play,
Yeah, football's so set, and so is baseball.
Yeah,
which is funny.
Baseball, there's so little creativity. Like in football, at least you
get pretty creative.
You can get pretty creative with the plays, and like you can get creative on an individual level with baseball, and they've started to welcome to Stinky Popcorn Boys. We're talking about sports
podcast.
But in baseball, they've started to explore a lot more with like, hey, we're gonna do the shift. We're gonna do these specific but they're kind of like big field things rather than like
baseball, there's a set amount of possibilities with the cards at hand, the players on the bases, the pitch count. You could literally write out what could happen with this play. This guy's out, they throw here, a run scored, this kind of hit, it's a single. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then football, it's either run pass, kick.
Well, and I think too, the thing that's interesting with baseball is that it's a team game, but it's an individual sport.
Yeah.
Where it's like pitchers are playing the hitter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a mental game between the pitcher and the hitter until somebody wins or loses.
Yeah.
And then it's a team game.
Yeah.
Whereas football is an individual game that relies on the whole or something like that.
Well, it's like football, like one guy fucks up, it doesn't matter if the other 10 did perfect,
Yeah.
And I think football to some extent is the ultimate team game, because there are sports like basketball, soccer, and hockey where a superstar can really up a team.
Yeah.
And minus quarterback, and even then a quarterback can't carry a team.
Yeah.
So football is without a doubt the ultimate team sport. And it's also a super interesting sport because it relies on athleticism minus a few positions. So almost anyone at a certain level can play and pick up. That's why you have like dudes showing up from like Australia or whatever or West Africa who never played football, but they're very athletic, that can pick up and join the pros.
Yeah.
Because it's about athleticism and certain skills, athletic skills, but not ball or stick skills the way other sports are.
That's interesting. Like, was it the 2000 or 2001 Ravens or 99 Ravens? Hold on. Whichever team that was like
2000.
the best defense, and they just had, who do they have
as Ray Lewis?
No, but who do they have as their quarterback? Because that's what everybody's like, quarterback.
He's the analyst. He's the analyst. I know his name. He's number 8, Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
But like, I think he was like a first overall pick or something like that, but he was like on his way out.
He's like a worse Alex Smith.
He was like, again, a game manager, but it's like, again, no disrespect to Eli Manning, but it's like, he never was like, I'm a great Eli Manning.
Yeah.
He was like, oh no, David Tyree, and I know this is personally painful to you, because he assassinated you guys.
I know. I don't get why Giants fans hate the Patriots. It's like a weird thing.
I don't get it.
Even Tom Brady's like, why do you guys should love me? Like, why do you hate us?
But I'm just saying, it's like you could make cases that they win in spite sometimes of those things. Like the team wins Like, yeah, sometimes Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers will put you on the back, or Russell Wilson, but
Rush
like
dangerous.
You know, whoever it is, or Adrian Peterson, it's like, oh yeah, he rushed for 320 yards. You can't do that for 17 games.
No.
You know, that's not how that works. You know, Aaron Rodgers can't throw 500 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's you got to play defense.
Yeah. It's a team game. Special teams matter. Anyways, the miracle.
But that's one of, like, cycling back, team game. That's one of the things that I think was I fucking wanted to play for Herb.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, this dude, he built a team.
Well, it's so cool too because it's largely Minnesota and Boston college players, and they're like kind of rivals. It also just shows like how small college hockey is and the sport of hockey was at the time. But they're at each other's throats, so there's a lot of good drama there, and he leverages it all in such a good way to kind of lead these.
I love
these
it.
Young
He's just
men.
like, let him do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Are you guys done? You guys done being little boys?
Yeah. I love his coaching, and I love that so many things in this movie aren't said explicitly.
Yeah.
Like, there's a part where the goalie, Jimmy Craig, they gave out this 400 question questionnaire to test their commitment, and the goalie didn't
to take it.
Yeah, and he walked up and he's like, I don't know if you're committed to this team, and he's like, I don't know what doing a questionnaire has to do about hockey. And he's like, okay, thanks, you just gave me the answer. And he walks away and he's like, Herb, what the hell? You know, I could be playing pro right now.
Yeah.
I'm here. And it's like, it's so simple, and it's not actually that romantic or interesting.
Yeah.
Or not interesting, like
it is, yeah.
compelling, like to the heartstrings or like the romantics.
Well,
but it's
I think the thing is like the notes that it plays are like deep bass notes that you don't see them being played.
Yeah.
Where rather than like, it's like, boom, hey, here I'm coming.
Yeah.
Hey, here's emotion underneath. Because you know his mom just died, and like know all that stuff, and he never is like.
He never says I'm doing this. He kind of does, but he doesn't.
He kind of does, but he's never like, my mom died and I have to. He's like, she wanted me to do this.
Yeah, and he's not like, he says it. It's there, but he doesn't say it directly. That like, I'm doing this for my mom instead of going out and making money because I could go pro right now.
Yeah,
he's just saying like, this is an important thing, and I'm making this sacrifice. Like, it's not completely altruistic. I'm doing this for my mom. I'm here, aren't I?
That's an interesting thing, is like there's so much stuff that's unsaid. And I was thinking about it in that scene that I referenced in my intro after the first Soviet game. And they're doing the lines.
The sprint, that's after the Norwegian game.
The Norwegian game, excuse me. And
which is my reference, because all the players are very distracted by the very beautiful Norwegian women. Which it's true. Having been to Norway, it's an issue. It's very distracting.
But what was I gonna say?
So he sees them like dicking off, and he's like, "You guys tied the Norwegian national team. This is bullshit.
Great fucking job. Get on the line. Let's do some sprints." And I love it because, because I was just thinking about that scene. I was like, listen, there's such a line, because I was thinking about the coaches that saw that, and it's like, listen, being a hard ass is not the answer, because what he's doing, I mean, that's not what it is. Like, it's not punishment for sake of punishment, and that's one of the things that really resonated with me as a person who played like high school sports, was like, it's not like you're running poles because you're running poles and whatever stupid thing. It's like, I need you to understand the gravity of this.
Yeah.
I need you to understand how big this is, and just thinking about how big that moment is, because it's like, that is either a moment where he galvanizes the team and they're all together.
Well, that's his thing, is
they fucking hate him.
Well, he's playing the angle like,
and it
like,
doesn't
like
help.
they grow together just due to camaraderie and getting to know each other, but he also knows that there's that deep kind of young, immature hate and grudges.
Yeah.
And he makes them hate him more than anything.
Yeah.
So he makes them, like, their hate and disdain come out, and it's not a toxic relationship.
No, because that's he very very he talks to them, you know. But when he went to his assistant coach and was like, "Hey, listen, I'm not their friend. You know, I don't know. I just fucking love that coach.
I love the dynamics too of like kind of like almost like you're gonna kind of be he doesn't say it, but it's said indirectly and just through good authentic, good genuine dialogue.
Yeah.
That assistant coach, you're gonna be the good cop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the bad cop, and they say it without directly saying it, and you could watch the movie and not pick that up.
Which is why it was so important in that scene that he blew the whistle.
Yeah.
You know, because if he didn't blow the whistle and he stands up to them, then he sows that discontent.
Yeah.
You know, he maybe sees that, he's the, like, but him presenting a united front, like, that was the scene to me that was the most important.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good to see that. I think that's one of the things that makes this movie feel so good is any of those moments that could be, like, mined for, like, cheap conflict.
Yeah.
Are resolved in the moment through humanity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he blows the whistle and the fucking kid is like, I'm from Winthrop, Massachusetts, and I play for the United States hockey team.
Yeah, so like
it's like a fucking hits.
That guy was my godfather's roommate or friend or something. Like my
Oh,
godfather
wow.
played hockey with him at BU or BC,
Not
whatever
the
it was.
actor, the actual person.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just speaking to how small the hockey scene is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It's really cool, and the legend of these players and what they did and how young they were. I mean, it's like, and again, like this movie has its voiceovers and romanticizes what happens.
Barely,
but it's there.
When does it do it? At the beginning and at the end.
Yeah, and I think actually the biggest romanticization is done in the America's so sad boy right now, sad boy summer America.
Yeah, in the very beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think like it
never slaps you in the face and tells you to love America. It's like, fuck yeah.
It's an underdog story. It's not a story about America.
Yeah, it's really not. And I think that's
and maybe that's easy to say as Americans, and there's some European dude like typical Americans.
Well, but I think too, it's also just like I just really like it because at the end, spoiler alert, they beat the Soviets and Herb makes eye contact with the Soviet coach.
And that's so genuine too.
And the Soviet coach is like, bro, you just fucking got me,
He's
dude.
like, bro, I'm shook. And Herb, like,
he does a little nod.
It's not like this super, it's just super genuine and authentic because Herb smiles kind of smug. Like, fucker,
I
don't think it's smug, but
I don't see it as smug.
He
I
smiles,
see it as like, I can't believe it.
Well, he smiles because he's happy. He's really happy, and he's looking at a guy who's really flustered and not at his expense, but he bested him, and then he nods. Like it's very like, I don't know. Like it wasn't.
It's
there
just
was
a genuine moment between two dudes who have done the best that they could in that moment,
and there was respect between them, but it wasn't the typical like, hey, I don't like you, but goddamn, I respect. Like that kind of cliche. It was just, I don't know.
But that was one of the things that I really liked about, which is like, I like the like in Queen's Gambit, whenever the final dude is like, you fucking got me.
Yeah.
Great fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love that as a thing where it's like, yes, they are essentially like, I can't think of the word, the proxy for a big, scary USSR.
Yeah.
But they are just good hockey coach.
Yeah.
Or they are just good chess player. And it's just like, I'm just really fucking glad to have played this fucking game. Like, I wish I had won.
Yeah.
But this was cool. To see you beat me in this,
fuck,
I don't love it, but hell yeah.
Yeah, and also just to paint the stakes, the Soviet team dominated for I think 20 years, and just top-notch players, and no one could really beat them. And the NHL had an all-star team, and they got crushed. And then this U.S. team of amateurs, of college kids, they got crushed by them in an exhibition game.
Yeah.
And they couldn't beat the Norwegian national team and like all this stuff. So like the stakes are huge. Like it's not, there's no, it's not a David. I mean, it's a true David versus Goliath thing. And for the sports fans out there, it's not even. I'd say like I don't know, Patriots versus the Rams, greatest show on turf.
Yeah,
like that was pretty. That was a pretty big stretch. But that doesn't even touch the U.S.
No, it's very David Goliath because it's like, oh man, wow, they're doing pretty good. Weird.
Because it's literally kids versus like men at the top of their game.
Yeah.
And obviously the kids are the cream of the crop from the collegiate sports scene, but still.
I mean, but I think
I don't know.
something...
Like the best college football team of college football all-stars, if they played like, what's the worst NFL team? The Jets. If they played the Jets from last year, the Jets would just demolish them.
Yeah, because that's the thing that a lot of people are like, oh, Alabama would beat the Jets, or whatever, and it's like, well, maybe, but also it would be a real game, like, and also like, because the thing is, I'll tell you the thing, but like these are professionals who have been playing this, and like the Soviet team in this, they've been playing together, and I don't think that people understand the importance of playing together, like. If I play pickup basketball with my brother, we're probably going to beat you because we've been playing together since we're 11.
Yeah.
Since I'm 11, he's like 8 or whatever, since he like that, like familiarity and that, like, just like knowing what the other person is going to do, how they're going to play, what they need to do to pick them up, what they need to do. It's absolutely fucking huge. So, like, that's the thing with these kids who, A, are probably not predisposed to that because they want to do what the best that they can do for themselves.
Yeah.
Or
maybe play with their one teammate from college that made the team, at best.
And it's like to try and cultivate that in such a short amount of time, like, that's fucking amazing, too. It was such a clutch fucking move for him to schedule that Soviet game, that Soviet exhibition game before the thing. It's like, they're like, why would you do this? And it's like, duh.
To get rid of the jitters.
Yeah, to like be like, yeah, they're going to beat us. And if you guys don't fucking get it together, they're going to beat you.
Yeah.
The worst thing that would have happened to him in that game is if they won somehow. Like, like that would have been the worst thing. Be like, oh, we fucking got it. We were so easy.
Especially all those young kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this movie. I don't have like anything negative to say about it really, or any nitpicks. Honestly, like I'm not saying it's a perfect movie, but like it's.
I don't know, man. This movie, this isn't like it doesn't change anything, and it doesn't really say anything. But this movie feels good. It looks good. It makes you feel good.
Well, like I said at the beginning, it literally could have come out in 2021.
Yeah.
Like okay, cool.
Or it could have come out in like 1988. It doesn't. I don't think it matters necessarily. I mean, technology-wise, yeah, it would matter. But like, if this movie is presented in any, like, it's like it could come out in fucking 2030.
Yeah. And
it would still be like, man, it's crazy that we used to spend that much energy to make ice frozen.
Yeah.
Because we can't do that anymore in 2030. But it's still like, shit. This is good. Like, any of the moments that might linger too long, like any of the stuff with him and his wife, still serves the purpose to illustrate who he is as a person and to humanize him outside of
being a hard ass.
And like show why and show.
I mean, I feel like the family stuff never drags.
It never drags.
Yeah.
And
it's also just very genuine and honest, and
and it never felt like for a moment I was like, oh, did she leave him or something like that? But it's like, it's just like, this is just kind of tense. Like, he's going all in on this Olympic thing, and she's like, I didn't really get a say in this.
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't really have one.
Yeah.
Because there was one moment where he was like, well, what do you say? And it's like, well, does she say no at this point? You're already in it, bud.
Yeah.
But again, that's like I
guess that raises the stakes of it being worth it in the end.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's decent little interfamily drama. It characterizes him, it shows his vulnerability.
Yeah. Is Kurt Russell wearing prosthetics?
I don't know. He might be.
I don't know. Like, his face looks clearly like Kurt Russell's face,
just a little different,
but also like slightly different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't explain it. Maybe it's his hair.
Could be. I mean, the nose could be a little bit bigger, a little more square. I don't know.
It feels. I don't know, man. I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong.
I think like one of my favorite moments in the movie is when they win and he goes out on his own. And it's like, this doesn't matter. It kind of culturally matter, but like, yeah, it just like hits you hard, and you're just like, I don't know. I love silhouettes, and I love long shots of a subject.
Yeah.
So that technically is already going there for me in terms of things I visually like. But then the stakes and just the way he wanted to do it, be alone too.
And I think too, like seeing character show emotion that normally doesn't show emotion.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like a release of 20 years.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is like he was in the Olympic team, but he kind of got cut or something last minute.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of just trying to catch it, trying to get it.
Yeah.
Vicariously, and I mean he's earning it as a coach too, but in the setting.
I think, I mean, one of my favorite moments. Again, there's so many good moments, so maybe we'll just talk about our favorite moments.
Yeah.
You know. But one of my favorite moments is whenever they're going out for the fucking interviews after the game. Oh. And they're like, hey, why don't you let us talk to your players? You're trying to get the spotlight for yourself? And he's like, noted. And then he sends out his assistant coach, and they're like, what is this? But they never like call mention to it. Again, it's another thing. I think that would be something that this movie does well, that it never calls attention to its moment. Like that reporter never is like, why did he, like, hey, why did he send you out here, you fucking dumb guy?
Yeah.
He's like,
did he send you out here because he didn't want us to think that he was wanting all the attention?
Hey, can you please spell out? Can you spell it out for us?
It's a movie that it doesn't. It's a simple movie, simple concept. It's not. There's not crazy messages here, but it doesn't treat its audience like it's dumb, which is nice.
Yeah.
Especially for a main event Disney movie at the time.
Yeah.
Like this, it wasn't a huge cultural thing when it came out, but I remember being a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement about it. You know, in the sports world, and in just the kind of the '80s nostalgia, the Cold War nostalgia, and then just for me, young me, like. Yay, America, I like America, I'm from America.
Yeah, that's my place.
I like seeing my America beat the other bad guys, Like, and you know what? I want to feel a little patriotic. I want to feel good about my country, and this was in the mid-2000s, so there wasn't really any lack of that. But watching it today, it definitely helps. Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah.
And it made me wonder on like a bigger scale, like, be nice to have something like that can unite us all, because we're so fucking divided right now.
Is there anything that's like? I mean, there's the Olympics coming up,
but I don't think so.
I don't know if the Olympics are gonna happen. The Japanese people and all the Japanese like head doctors are like, please cancel this.
Really?
Because they're worried that all the people coming in, because the fucking athletes aren't required to be vaccinated.
Well, I think the Japanese vaccine rate is way under 10%.
It's low, but also all the people coming in are like all the athletes aren't required to be vaccinated.
That's crazy.
Which is ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess that would put people at a disadvantage, because again, I'm speaking from an entitled position in America where we're fucking able to get vaccines real easy.
Where we mobilize really well for some reason.
But
I saw someone said, look, I was like, damn you, America, you had to be the best at being the most infected, and then fuck you again, you had to be the best at fixing it, or something like that. That's just what we do.
Yeah, man, we just do stuff fast, and then we cry about it later.
We go fast, eat ass.
Go fast, eat ass, baby. That should be the slogan.
That's what unites
of America.
Divided America. I don't.
Everybody just eat some ass.
What's the thing? Like this came out of nowhere. No one's expecting this team of college kids to beat this Soviet team, and I don't know how significantly big it was at the time. I know my dad remembered it, but he played hockey. He's from Maine.
Yeah.
So I don't. I mean, I'm very biased because I was living I grew up in New England, And if you grew up in probably New England and Minnesota, you probably like just felt hit heavier or like felt more culturally significant. But
I saw a picture of it. I'm yawning. I saw a picture of it in like history through the ages. You know?
Yeah.
Like
it was
Miracle on Ice, U.S. men's hockey team. But I don't know why. For some reason, I thought they got the bronze medal. But I think it was because they beat them in the bronze medal game.
They beat them in the semifinals.
Yeah.
And the Soviets won the bronze medal match to get third place.
See, I thought for some reason that they won the bronze medal. But they won the gold medal.
Yeah, they beat the Soviets, and then the next game was Sweden or something. I don't know. It's not important, but
I think it's Finland.
Yeah, it's one of the Scandinavian countries.
Yes.
We learned things today.
Today we are learning things about hockey, about lacrosse,
Scandinavia.
About Scandinavia.
Yeah, I don't know what it would take to unite the country.
Take a lot, bud.
Yeah, take a lot.
It would take a lot, bud.
Honestly, it would take a very bad guy. It'd take like Hitler level World War II.
I don't want that.
World-ending kind of thing to unify us right now, I think.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
It's pretty far gone.
There would still be people. There would still be people who would either defend his right to say what he wants.
No.
Like
this
you know,
this fictional dictator.
Yeah, this fictional
that's so
dictator.
bad that maybe we can unify against him.
Yeah, there was, and then there were people like here who would be like, actually, maybe I like him.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, people defend Thanos.
Yeah. But I think that if they were
are we too far gone from that? I mean, I think the country's so divided and so different that
we're not going to solve it here, bud. This is a road that I don't know if we can go down, but we can.
I'm not trying to solve it. I'm just this seems very relevant to today.
Yeah.
To me personally. Because maybe it felt because I think it felt just as hopeless and disunited and like lack of hope, lack of optimism.
Yeah.
So I think that's similar to today.
I mean,
and I'm not saying we're gonna come up with an idea. I just keep posing that question in my head, and I
sometimes the fruit gets too ripe and it falls off the tree.
Yeah.
And then you plant it, and then that fruit rots, and then you have another tree right next door to it.
Maybe the BTS fans will save us somehow.
Who can they unite against?
No, just the K-pop BTS stands will just do their thing and save us. They're
save us. Hey, save us specifically, please.
In the U.S. I just love that they're always like.
Then they
got like hackers and they it's such a bizarre.
I saw
phenomenon.
I saw a stat that was like BTS fans were responsible for something like. I'm gonna butcher this, and also I'm not looking at it, but it was something like 42% of South Korea's GDP.
Jeez,
something ridiculous.
I mean, that's really high.
See, maybe that's wrong, but I know that it was like a number that was like, holy shit, that's really fucking like, or of all the tourism, or something like that in Korea.
Probably of leisure, like of that like market leisure. Entertainment demographic.
Now we're talking about stuff. And I don't know if I want to learn about this today.
Well,
don't talk to me about GDPs. I just know this is
you brought it up. I had the BTS McDonald's meal.
How is it? Is it just?
It's just a 10-piece nugget. But I think the sauces are the localized sauces from Korea.
Okay.
So I think they're sauces from Korea.
Did we just get demonetized because I did?
No, I think you're good.
Okay.
I was speaking over it, but it's like it's a Cajun sauce and a sweet chili sauce.
Okay.
2 sauces, really good, worth going. If you,
it sounds tasty.
It's worth it.
I like it. I love a good sauce, man.
Yeah, I recommend it at least once.
And you call me the sauce man. No one calls me the sauce
man. Yeah. So BTS meal.
BTS meal. Here we go.
I think that the movie. Okay, maybe one complaint.
Give it to me, bud.
So Mike Eruzione, the captain, my godfather's hockey friend,
great kisser, I heard.
Yeah, we don't see enough of him being a leader, minus him connecting the dots and saying, "What team do you play for? I play for the United States of America."
Yeah,
you don't see enough of him being that leader. I think he kind of just looks like slightly confused worry boy about being cut. A little too much. Like, I think we get too much of Mike Ruzioni being worried about being cut. And then it comes back around where I think he scores the tying goal or the go-ahead goal.
I'm pretty sure Mark Johnson does most of the scoring.
Yeah, so Ruzioni scored one of the goals. I think it might... Because he does that thing where he runs and he, like, pumps his arms. He, like, kind of runs on the ice after he scores, which is iconic from that Miracle time, from the Miracle legend.
Yeah.
But I think the movie could have done him better, I guess, if I'm picking something out. And
I think they did a great job. Not to undercut your point, but I think that they did a great job of focusing on Herb and keeping the team. You know?
Yeah.
Like that's always the tricky thing with like sports stuff is there's so much required. Like there's no way you could go into each individual player.
Yeah.
Doing their thing.
I think they did a good job of showing the overall team as like a kind of unit, and they tried to give probably every member some kind of FaceTime or moment of the commentator saying their name.
Yeah.
Because obviously some guys I could never tell you that were even in this movie. Yeah. But it also kind of just looked like generic hockey player guy.
They
which
play
is good.
Hockey well, though.
They look like hockey players. Like the one Massachusetts guy who gets all upset because he got injured.
Yeah.
Looks just like Christian's brother, who is a hockey player, and from New England, and it's just so weird because like hockey players have a look. They have like, which I mean these guys are probably all actual hockey players.
They look like actual hockey players. Have you ever done drills after the game, like punishment? You guys did a bad job drills after a game.
Probably once or twice. I can't remember specifically. Fun fact though.
Okay.
I went to I used to go to the Patriots training camps in Massachusetts when we lived in Maine. You just watch them practice, and then you get autographs. Got Tom Brady's autograph.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Stuff like that.
What do you autograph?
Calendar. It's in my home office.
Nice.
It was actually autographed to my sister's. I was right next to him. He went for the little girl.
Yeah.
Fair play. My sister gave it to me. I counted as I got the autograph. Anyways, so after the practice, Bill Belichick was running sprints.
Huh.
Like old man Belichick. He's just... I don't know why he did it, but he did sprints.
Got to burn some extra energy out, bud.
But what's interesting is when the team would fuck up, he would make them run. And it's like here you have these grown men professionals getting yelled at and take a lap.
Yeah.
It was really humbling, and not humbling, but it was very like I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, just like me when I do sports.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't know.
I got Mariano Rivera. Closer for the closer for the Yankees.
Oh, got his autograph?
Yeah, I got his autograph, and it was an interesting choice, but I had a cast. I had him sign my cast.
Do you still have the cast?
I have the piece of the cast.
Oh, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing.
But I remember I was like, huh. It wasn't until later that I was like, now I gotta have this. Okay, that's it. Cool.
Yeah. Well,
now I got to walk around.
You play with the cards
cast.
you're dealt.
And now I got to walk around with this cast that has a Mariano Rivera signature on it, and like live life and get dirty and stuff.
Yep. Well, while we're at it, I got Casey Powell and Mikey Powell's autograph.
I have no idea who these people are.
Literally the Michael Jordans. There's two of them. It's like Michael Jordan had a brother, and they both were Michael Jordan of the sport.
What of what?
Of lacrosse.
Oh wow!
So the Powell brothers are Michael Jordan twice over. For lacrosse. Like absolute legends. Super good. And I did a lacrosse camp in like bumfuck North Carolina at Pfeiffer University that they were doing. And like 10 kids showed up.
So I think Pfeiffer, aren't they good at lacrosse?
They might be.
I might be making that
up. But I got like pretty much a one-on-one with Casey Powell. Like, can you imagine going to a basketball camp and Michael Jordan is it's his camp and there's only 9 other kids?
And it's like, oh, okay.
Like, it was awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I got Mike Lieberthal's autograph. Again, these are going to be Mike Lieberthal is a catcher for the Phillies. I got Todd Zeal's autograph. Again, a catcher for the Mets. He was a catcher left field player for the Mets. I think that's it. I feel like there was one other player that I remember that are like hey, these guys are all right.
Mm-hmm.
But Mariano Rivera is the main one. Like,
yeah.
I
mean, I know that name.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best closers of all time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he has the most saves all time.
Yeah. I mean, I was a Red Sox fan for many year in the early 2000s, pretty much all through the aughts.
How do you feel about Brad Stevens being the president of basketball operations now for the Celts?
I saw that. I don't follow
Sports
them.
podcast boys. Sports podcast boys.
Yeah. Sports. Yeah.
Sports pod boys.
Sporty pods.
Sporty pods.
See, what we need to do is get this podcast to be so big, and then we network into other niches, and we have our own
and
podcast
all
network.
SPB.
Yeah.
We'll do one that's music, that's symphonic penis blasters. That's not good.
There's gotta be a P word with music.
Piano.
Symphonic phonic.
Symphonic phonic beats.
Yeah.
Just the symphonic phonic beats.
Just words. It's like this movie's good, and I didn't expect you to like it. Not because it's not a good movie, just because you didn't like sports movie. I wasn't sure what the standard was.
Yeah, no, this is. I mean, they play sports well, and I think it really hits me. It hits me in all the good places. It made me want to go to training camp. It made me want to like do that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I was very impressed, and I'll always be impressed with like that they were fucking just walking regularly on those skates, and they're just like, we're just walking and we're on skates, and I'm like, how?
Do you skate? Have you ever skated?
No.
Really? Have you like rollerbladed or roller skated?
I always go right to my fucking inside of my ankles. I can't do it.
Have you skied?
Yes.
Okay. Skiing and skating are more similar than you'd think.
No.
Huh?
I disagree.
I'm not seeing skiing and rollerblading, but skiing and skating. There's some tie-ins there.
I don't know. The snow is softer than the ice is.
Well, yeah, that's definitely
what I'm
different.
saying. Is I fall when I fall on the skate, it hurt a lot more.
Yeah.
When I fall on the ski, not hurts as much.
Yeah. That's it.
But this movie hits really good because I think that.
Therefore,
again,
I am.
All that I think. Therefore, I am. But because Herb is such a good coach, and because all the stuff is unsaid, so you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
And because it's not like he's like, now you guys have to play with your heart, don't you see?
I love when he calls that.
Don't you see?
And there's always the cliche of like playing through an injury and like being selfish about it as a coach, like expecting your player to play through it.
Yeah.
And this was a different time, but I love that it doesn't play around. Like he's like, could he permanently damage himself? He says to the trainer, he's like, no. And then he's like, okay. And then he uses that to bridle up the key. He's like,
yeah.
He's like, what the hell's wrong with you? This guy's injured. And he's like, what the hell's wrong with you? And he's like, I'm injured. And he's like, all right, you candy ass. And then, and he's like, what? And he just starts yelling at him. And he's like, okay. And he walks out. Like that was his intermissional.
Well, and that's the thing. Is like, I never actually get the idea that he wishes them any harm or like does anything other than care about them.
Like I don't think he's being a selfish, like treating them as objects and pawns.
Yeah.
Because he did ask, like, you know, will
is
he
he
get
gonna be
hurt?
okay? Could he damage it forever?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, no, probably not. But
and they're not playing for money, and maybe he has a contract looming. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at that point, they're all in, and I think that's the point. Is he wants guys who are all in.
And also,
and at that point,
and
that's
also,
where it was.
I think the thing that's great about this movie is everything feels earned. Like, especially because we see them training, we see all the little bits of them doing stuff. We see all the movement of them as players and as characters. So it all feels earned.
Yeah.
You know? Where it's like we see the oh my god, I want to call him umpire, goalie. We see the goalie doing his like hand drills.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, yeah, he's working on it. He's not just expecting to get better. I think that's what it is. It's just like, they're not like, oh, we got to try with our heart. It's like, no, we got to actually physically like do conditioning. I got to do my hand drills.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
just very satisfying. Like the whole movie is very satisfying to watch. I wish that I could see more wide shots. of the games. But that's just because I want to understand the game a little bit more.
Yeah, which they do in the practice because they don't have to worry about the crowd as much. Like I got season tickets to the Carolina Hurricanes. We're moving to Raleigh, so we'll be close to that.
Oh boy!
And figured why not?
I'm gonna see a hockey game.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got the tickets. We got like tickets to like 90 games or however many are in a season.
How many games are in it? You
don't
know.
I guess half,
didn't know.
roughly half has to be home. So I'd say 50 games at the home stadium.
It's interesting to me that a tie isn't. They're like, all right, yeah, we tied.
No, yeah, well, that's different in pro hockey now. So there was like hockey was kind of declining mid 2000s, if I remember right, and it was just declining. It's boring, and like it was super cool. They did like so many rule changes that sped up the game, and made it more decisive, and more just interesting. And so
the reverse of how they did with baseball.
Yeah,
they slowed it down.
And so so there's no more tying because like tying was a very common thing.
Yeah,
but now overtime is. It's either 3-on-3, 4-on-4, whatever. It's 5 minutes of sudden death. It's quick too. It's like, okay, 5 more minutes, go balls to the wall.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, then it's a shootout. Every single game ends with
like
a winner.
Like soccer. Well, not like soccer, but like that's how soccer. If they need to get to a win,
it plays the golden goal shootout method. Yeah. But it's just regular season. So with that said, just hockey kind of was able to I guess made some changes for better, which is really pretty cool to see. And then, Ovechkin came in the league, I think, around that time, too. And then Sidney Crosby came in. So you had that huge star power to carry it, too.
Yeah. I was my only connection, really, with hockey was I was in Chicago when the Blackhawks won their most recent Stanley Cup.
Pretty sure they beat the Bruins for that one.
I think so.
Yeah.
It was Game 7. And we were at a restaurant or something like that, and I was like, Game 7 Stanley Cup. And then I went to a White Sox game later that week, and they had the Stanley Cup there, and I saw it in person.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to a Stanley Cup playoff game before. It was the Canes versus the Bruins. I just like hockey. I don't know.
I'm about to get way into it, but you got season tickets. You're going to be there every fucking game.
No, I love it. I'm looking forward to it. And I'd watch I think I'll have Bruins before the Canes always.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll probably end up watching a lot of Hurricanes. I don't know.
Bruins is a great name. I was talking with my brother about like sports names because I don't like the Minnesota Timberwolves as a name. It's got like too many syllables and stuff. And like Miami, it's like.
Well, the Minnesota hockey team's the Minnesota Wild, so they definitely trimmed that down.
Yeah, I like Minnesota Wild.
Yeah.
But like, is there Vancouver Canucks?
Yes.
I love that name.
Yeah. Well, also what's cool about the hockey and the NHL,
and it's like a killer whale mascot.
It's like a sea with like some kind of fish thing. And what I like about the hockey league, it's the same with soccer and basketball, but it's so international.
Yeah.
And what is actually cool about it is there's literally 8 teams in Canada.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
There's no way not to. I mean.
Yeah. You gotta. Like most of the teams are Canadian.
Yeah.
Which I think has been changed. There's been a lot more American players coming in.
Is there the way that there is no soccer league here, really? Like there is a soccer league, but it's like you play like Premier League is the NBA.
I think the NHL is the cream of the crop, but there's tons of leagues all over the place.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you ever played a FIFA game.
I have.
You know that there's like a fuckload of teams because there's a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with NHL games. It has all the leagues and all that stuff.
And I was probably wrong about Premier League. I just like the Champions League, which is Champions League. That's like the one that includes kind of all of them, right?
Yeah, it pulls the best of the best from all the leagues.
Yeah.
There's probably some equivalent in the European market, but I don't think they do that.
Not the Super League.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different thing.
That was a fucking...
That fell apart.
That fell apart. That was fucking...
embarrassing.
An interesting decision.
Well, hope you guys enjoyed sports talk.
We're talking about sports, baby. We talked about lacrosse. We talked about Miracle.
Yeah.
We fulfilled it. We talked about...
Well, here's, I guess...
a little bit of everything.
Let's wrap this up with, do you think you need to be a hockey fan to enjoy this movie?
No, absolutely not.
There you go. Watch it. It's a good movie.
Watch this movie. It's very fucking fun.
What did you give it?
I'm going to give this movie 4.5 stars. 4.5. I'm going to give it 4.5 whistle blows, baby.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I thought they would have been happy just going on 4.5 suicides on the ring instead of probably the whatever amount they did. I'm trying to see what I gave it, and I think I probably gave it a 4-star, but it definitely.
I mean, it could go 4 to 4.5. I think it's just like I don't want to give it 5 stars.
Yeah, it's 4 for me, but it's a very high.
But it's
4.
also I think I don't want to give it 5 stars because it doesn't it doesn't serve any purpose other than to be like, hey, here's a really good telling of this moment and all these people.
Yeah.
You know? But it's still just like really fucking good and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel good. It looks good and
it's a fun period piece too. A lot of it's like not quite. It's more in 70s nostalgia, even though it's based in 1980s.
Yeah.
But that's because it's 1980 and not like 1987.
So what have you been watching?
I've only watched one movie since we last recorded, which was only a few days
ago. You were on such a fucking roll, dude.
Well, it's really recorded this podcast like 2 days later.
Come on,
but
man.
I watched.
What are you?
Funny
enough,
enough,
aspirational. What are you gonna watch?
Well, funny enough, what I did watch was Escape from New York.
Oh,
starring
dude.
Kurt Russell, and I didn't realize
that movie goes hard.
I love the call me Snake. And there's and then at the end he's like, call me Priskin or Roy Priskin, and then I love the line that keeps coming up is like, weren't you dead? And it's never addressed.
I love
it. And
it.
his costume with the eye patch and the skinny pants, and obviously Hideo Kojima loved that movie because Metal Gear Solid, the Snake character, literally the name, and the eye patch. It's just funny to see that.
Oh.
But I watched that. The movie was okay.
They're not related.
They're not related, but they're very essentially, Kojima probably thought it was cool and made a character based off it very heavily. It could be. Maybe there's some canon. I don't know. But I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. It was a fun experience.
You didn't love it?
No, surprisingly.
How fucking dare you, dude?
Yeah.
That's it. We're not friends. Not going to go see any hockey games with you. I'm just kidding. I will. Oh, shit. I don't know.
You're shit on me.
I was shitting on you. Man, I literally finished Succession.
You said that last time.
Fuck. Did I? I thought I was still watching it.
You definitely did.
Well, I watched NBA playoffs. Dame Lillard.
Nice.
Fucking killing stuff.
You watched Miracle.
I watched Miracle. I'm working, man. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish Mayor of Easttown tonight, which is a TV show.
Nice.
Not necessarily a movie.
I've heard people talking about The Great. It's supposed to be really good.
Yeah. I've watched a couple episodes of that.
Nice.
And it was really good. It was just like, the time was wrong. You know, like when you start watching something with someone and you can't figure out how to.
That's what I'm talking about. Sad boy Ruzioni. There's 15 shots of him being a sad boy.
He's like, oh boy, am I gonna get cut?
I will say
it.
We did really good not referencing this on-screen stuff. That was the first time this episode.
I think it was because we referenced this movie the least.
Yeah. I feel like we talked about it a decent amount.
I think so. Hey, as they say in Lake Placid, New York, I'm the king of the world!
Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Miracles on ice!
Oh. Bye.
I love you.